Rainbow Magic. Evie, the Mist Fairy. Chapter 2. Magic in the Mist. The girls ran towards a stile that led into the wood. They were out of breath by the time they jumped down onto the forest path and looked around. Wispy silver mist clung to trees everywhere and coated the grass with tiny droplets. Every twig, leaf, and flower glowed and shimmered with a soft silver light. And where the sunbeams reached down through the trees, the fairy mist sparkled with rainbow light. "Oh," breathed Rachel, "it's so beautiful." Kirsty stared open-mouthed at the forest. It looked almost as magical as fairyland itself. Slowly, the girls moved forwards. After a few steps, Rachel realized that she couldn't see very far ahead. "This mist is building up fast," she said. "The goblin with the mist feather must be hiding really nearby." Kirsty nodded as thick fog swirled around them. "You're right, Rachel," she agreed, "and we can hardly see a thing. The goblin could be right behind us." Rachel rubbed her bare arms and shivered nervously. Only a couple of minutes had passed, but as the mist grew thicker, the forest began to feel dark and unfriendly. Nothing glittered or gleamed anymore. The fog was settling around the girls like a cold blanket. Shadowy figures moved up ahead. A man wearing a red t-shirt ran out in front of the girls as another runner burst out of the trees. They were heading straight for each other. "Watch out!" called Kirsty, but it was too late. Crash! The runners bumped into each other. "Sorry I didn't see you there," one of them said, rubbing his head. "I've never seen fog like this in summer," replied the other one. Rachel and Kirsty could hear rustles and bumps all around them. Complaining voices echoed through the fog. Lots of runners was getting lost and having to walk in order to avoid the trees. "What a shame this fog is ruining the fun run," said Rachel. The fog still seemed to be getting thicker. It cloaked the trees in robes of dull gray, making them look dark and sinister. Suddenly, something caught Kirsty's eye. "Look over there," she pointed. A bright light was moving towards them, shining like a lantern. Soon, the girls could see that it was a tiny gleaming fairy. "Oh," gasped Kirsty, "it's Evie the Mist Fairy." "Hello again, Kirsty and Rachel," cried Evie in a bright, twinkly voice as she hovered in the air in front of them. The girls had met Evie in Fairyland, along with all the other weather fairies. She had long dark hair and violet eyes. She wore a floaty lilac dress with purple bows, and her wand had a sparkly silver tip from it which wisps of shimmering mists drifted constantly. "Oh, we're so glad to see you," said Rachel delightedly. "We really need your help," Kirsty added. "We're sure that the goblin with the mist feather is far away." "Yes," agreed Evie, a frown off her tiny face, "and he's causing lots of misty mischief." "Could you leave a magic trail behind us as we go further into the woods?" Rachel asked. "Then we can look for the goblin and still find our way back to the stile and out." Evie grinned. She waved her wand and a fountain of fairy dust shot out. It floated to the ground and formed a glittering path. Of course, now we won't get lost, she said, but we might bump into the runners, Kirsty pointed out. Let's turn ourselves into fairies, Rachel, then we can fly. The Fairy Queen had given Rachel and Kirsty beautiful golden lockets full of fairy dust. The girls sprinkled themselves with the fairy magic dust and soon shrunk to fairy size. The trees seemed as big as giant castles looming out of the thick fog. I love being a fairy, Kirsty sang out happily. Rachel twisted round to look over her shoulder. There were her fairy wings on her back, shining and delicate. Hooray! Evie rose into the air, a trail of glittering mist steaming from her wand, and the two girls followed her deeper into the forest. Below them, the runners were still stumbling about in the fog. Poor Mom, she was really looking forward to today. That nasty goblin spoiling everyone's fun, said Kirsty crossly. Suddenly, Rachel spotted a dark-hunched shape in the mist below. She waved urgently to Kirsty and Evie. Look down there, she called softly. I think we find Goblin.